Hi my friend, today we'll talk about a fighter like Conor McGregor. I will say right away that my attitude towards him is different, but I can say one thing for sure. In many ways, he is unique. Today we will talk about what role he played in the fate of the UFC and other fighters. Let's go. In 2013, Conor came to the UFC as an ordinary Irish bully. Before that, he fought in the British cage promotion for 100 to 150 per fight and received unemployment benefits, not like the starter kit of a future millionaire. For his first appearance in the UFC, he received $76,000, $8,000. As a guaranteed fee, the same amount in the form of a bonus for the victory and $60,000 for the best knockout of the evening. From that very moment, the history of the UFC began to change rapidly. And with it, fate McGregor. Dana White had talented fighters before Conor. Many of them surpassed him in the whole. There are a number of criteria, but the scale of McGregor's personality by default should not be measured by a professional record, but by the number of banknotes. Trash talk and aggressive promotion of fights were invented long before the Irishman was born, but few people managed to harmoniously integrate them into mixed martial arts. At the same time, McGregor did not stop winning, and in the style closest to the average viewer, a brutal knockout. Conor's entertainment and pugnacious nature made him a real savior of all men's weight categories below average. In previous years, attention to them was close to zero, especially at a time when stars like Randy Couture or Brock Lesnar fought in the heavyweights. It was the heavy division that formed the audience's interest in the UFC for a long time, and the tournament at number 100, the main event of which was Lesnar's fight with Frank Mir, for 17 years held the popularity record by the most objective criterion of the existing ones: the number of paid broadcasts sold to pay-per-view, or PPV. With the arrival of McGregor, the public remembered the existence of lightweights. In July 2015, his fight with Chad Mendes got a headlining role at a PPV tournament. By that time, the Irishman's guaranteed fee had grown to $500,000. For comparison, in the same year, the UFC lightweight champion Anthony Pettis, for losing to Rafael dos Anjos the fight, received only $150,000. The number of paid broadcasts sold from that tournament approached 825,000. 6 months later, 1.4 million people watched McGregor lay Jose Aldo, who had been invincible for 9 years, on the canvas in a record 13 seconds. In March 2016, McGregor's first fight with Diaz repeated the UFC sales record, and 6 months later the tournament with their rematch officially became the record holder for PPV, 1.65 million. To date, 5 of the top 10 best-selling tournaments of the promotion are titled lightweight fights, and all of them with McGregor's participation, including one of the most popular fights in the history of world sports, a title fight with a Russian Khabib Nurmagomedov, 2.4 million. The increase in revenue from broadcast sales directly affected the financial condition of the UFC. In 2007, the company was on the verge of bankruptcy. Its value was estimated in the interval between $150 to $240 million. In December 2020, White stated that the cost of the promotion is already $9.10 billion, and Conor's merit in this is indisputable. Indirectly, McGregor also influenced the amount of other fighters' fees, especially earnings his rivals. For example, Donald Cerrone, according to media reports, received a record $2 million for himself for the lost fight to the Irishman. The same amount for the victory over McGregor received in Nurmagomedov. Before that, the biggest guaranteed fee of a Russian was $530,000. Already in the next fight, Khabib will break the biggest jackpot in the UFC, receiving guaranteed more than $6 million. The opponent was Dustin Poirier, and in his last fight with Justin Gaethje, he will increase the record to $10 million. But it was after the collision with McGregor that he began to earn big money. McGregor himself had a maximum guaranteed fee in the UFC of $5 million. However, this amount does not include revenue from ticket sales, PPV, bonus and sponsorship payments, the exact amount of which is unknown. At the same time, the media and Conor himself have repeatedly said that there is simply no richer fighter than him. Friends, that's all I have. In the next issue, I will tell you why Tony Ferguson ended and could he cope with Khabib at the peak. As always, like and subscribe from you. And write everything down. What do you think about today's video in the comments? While